Well, she was, yeah. No, back when I met her in 2018.
You met her?
You know, before she blew up.
Was she taller than you?
She's big.
Was she
That
really
was
big?
when her mom was still alive, because I met her mom, too.
Ah.
Yeah, man. She went through
Your
it.
mom just died last year, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like her manager. That's how I met her, because she was moving around. I met her at Hot 97, I think. She did the Angela Yee show. What was that? Something lip service?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I had no idea what type of show that was until I was in there.
What is it, sex?
Yeah, it's just all.
Is that what August was on?
But it was awkward because she was talking about all these things in front of her mom, and her mom like wouldn't leave the room because she was like,
hot girl.
Right.
Yeah,
I remember
she's
watching a documentary where Megan was in the studio and her mom used to be a rapper as well. She was like, "You need to hit that pitch harder."
Yeah. I was like, you had no choice but to be successful.
Yes. When you got your mom.
Your mom walked you right in that door.
I'm about to send you a link, Kev.
Okay. Let's make sure there wasn't something I had missed. Come on. Come on, Kev.
Do all the runs. Yeah, tablets on 2%. I love it. Listen, this is the life I live.
Come on, Chrome. I need you to move faster.
There we go. Good.
Whoa.
I'm trying to figure out what type of girl ring Nick Cannon runs. Because
Girl ring?
like what I mean is there was the chick the model who had posted a picture with him and was like, no entanglements here. But one of my
she did?
Yes, but one of my girlfriends is
Jesus.
pregnant by him.
Currently?
Yeah.
At this moment?
At this moment.
With child?
This is her second.
He might have a low key ring then, like,
Right.
because I heard those kind of stories from. I don't know if we still mentioned Robert Kelly, but those, I mean, not this. Obviously, it might not be the exact same.
Yeah.
But those like, oh yeah, like I'll be going over to his house. He pays all this, and this. I just can't leave.
I just
It's like that doesn't sound like
right. Like this is her second child with him. They made an announcement, so to have somebody be like, "No entanglements, real love here," I'm like, but he has a baby and he lives with the woman he made the baby with. I mean, as long as everybody's happy.
No point. That's all that matters. Do you send it, Josh?
I'm about to, but the mouse died, so I need to.
Listen, technology, that's what it do.
I'm sick of it. Can I use the mouse when it's not? When it's charging? This is a crucial moment for it to not be charged. What's the charger on the bottom of a mouse?
Such a stupid thing. It is literally a stupid thing.
If you want, Kev, you could just go to. That's too much work. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna say you could just go to the Kev on Stage Studios YouTube.
Yeah,
and it should be streaming through there. Yeah. It is streaming through there. I was literally up on my email to send it to you, and then the mouse just like, hey man, we're tired.
Are you gonna need the mouse to?
Yes. Well, no.
To click back.
I think I could do it through the keyboard. But
what makes you do things like this, Ken? What happens? What makes you go? That's.
Nope. I'm gonna need the mouse.
That's I just want to know.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if I plug it straight.
When you see things on the internet and you're like, yeah, I want to do that.
This is the day.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
That's a real question.
I know. I wish I could tell you. I just saw that and I was like, sweet.
Why not?
I don't have to be bald. And that was really what it was. Are we going to have to wait for the mouse to come back in? Which is fine. I can get the link.
Yeah, but I can't. I mean, actually, it'll just stay on the wide.
Until it clicks?
Yeah, I just can't record it. But worst case, I'll just pull the stream link until this charges.
You can't record it?
I can't record it internally. It'll record, like, it'll be up on YouTube. And then I'll record the audio. Because the audio is through the Zoom. So I could just click record there. But
I mean, do you all actually put a reposted link? I mean, do y'all
I usually go on YouTube and take some down to.
Oh yeah. To
promote.
Because you are a real businessman.
I just liked it.
Yeah,
I needed to be doing it before.
Kev always makes me feel less than with how hard he works.
Everybody needs to be doing it before, but I can't. I don't have the time.
Did you find the editor?
Yes, I did, and I'm going to have her. She's not going to be editing any of the stuff I already
Kev, I can send it to you. I got a low charge. You already got it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
She's going
to send it to
Yep.
Angel? Okay, don't yell. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up.
She's going to be editing stuff that is just sitting on my camera that I can't get to.
Is this you trying to let go and having difficulty?
No. I based off of her skill set, it's kind of a waste to have her do
something simple.
Simple, yeah. So I'm like, well, you know what? I've got a bunch of hauls and stuff that I cannot get to. Mm-hmm. I'll give you those things. I need somebody who is just like, no, I just need a side hustle real quick and throw them my simple trim stuff.
I have somebody for that.
Why are you just now telling me?
Well, I didn't know what you needed. I thought you needed an active editor.
Kevin.
DZ will do that for you.
I know.
He's good at this.
DZ needs work too. He's with child.
I will throw him so much stuff.
Do you need his info? I'll give it to you.
Kevin, what do you think? Do you not see? I think you hear me struggle, and you think that's just my regular voice.
I have been accused of being a takeover person, so I'm not trying to do that. But
Kevin, I understand the spirit. I have the same spirit.
Kindred spirits.
Yes, so I'm not about to be offended. The day y'all were cleaning out the office, I told you, I'll come.
You said you have experience.
I have experience. Take that out of there. They don't go there no more. I'm really good at it. And then if somebody do it too slow, I have the experience of doing it and accidentally emasculating the person because I did it.
I sent you his phone number.
Okay. Oh, is this from all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know.
Yeah. If he don't work, I got some other people who would mind.
Okay.
Side editing. Shoot, Zay probably do that for you.
Listen, I kept telling my nephew, I was like, "Hi, hello, people." I kept telling my nephew, I was like, "You get some Final Cut Pro,
right?
And I'll throw you all my stuff. Then at least, if I accidentally leave my address or something in one of my videos, you can chop it out for me."
Stephen Panfil asked if you were going through a midlife crisis, Kev.
No, not at all, actually.
He's like, I'm good. I know, I saw that.
Somebody DM'd me and said, "Kev, you lost yourself." I said, "I found myself."
Right. Did you hear about Tamar Braxton?
I did.
That's a shame. That's just a shame. She's had
It's a lot.
Yeah, this is not.
Very much a lot.
This is not the easiest of jobs.
No, it's not.
Did you feel like you got to decompress? Kev,
yes.
Kev, you have got to stop.
I can't stop.
You cannot.
I was eating noodles with this on yesterday.
Did you slurp one in by accident?
They were all in the noodle broth.
Why don't you do a high pony then?
Because it's not tight enough.
You could look like Pat.
I try to do that and it
pulled off. That's the reason. That's what the got to be glued would be for. But I don't know if you really want to commit like that.
I don't think I do.
I got some Elmer's in the car if you need it.
I mean, because got to be glued is at least.
How do you take it off?
Got to be glued.
Because got to be glued is not actually glue. It's like a gel.
Oh, like a real. Oh, that's what people used to lay their edges down.
Yeah, it's like a gel, but then after a day, it flakes up, and so it looks like you have a army of dandruff going across your forehead.
Melissa's sister used to rock remember the sock in bun?
Yeah.
She used to rock that almost exclusively as her hairstyle, male, and she used to be
sleek back.
She had a whole helmet hair.
She had a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that used to be the thing. No lie.
Are you able to click, or are you just gonna go?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, whenever you guys are
ready. Did it charge, or are you able to change it?
It charged enough, but I got it to the screen at least to where I can click through. Because I can use the keyboard, I just wasn't able to click to the...
so you're still charging it now.
Well, the mouse is I'm charging the keyboard just in case the keyboard goes.
Oh, my gosh. Dear Lord, help us.
But it should
Maybe
be.
if we bobby pin it, we could do maybe. Like
I'm going as I expound my looks. I'm gonna be able to go high pony.
You gotta do the Pat high pony.
I have to.
oh yeah, the messy.
My
the messy
homegirl
bun.
is B. Lou's girlfriend is a hairstylist. I hit her up about doing it, but then Melissa was like, "If you do this, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be hot. And you're not gonna want to sleep with it." And I was like, I don't want to pay a whole bunch of money and then like want to take it off the same day. But I feel like people are not going to respect me until they can see it without the bandana.
Right. This is definitely low key like the chick that is not willing to commit to a good wig.
Yeah, it's the headband. It's the headband and braids.
Because it looks a little pushed back today than it was yesterday.
But the fact that you and your wife are having these conversations is what I really want to appreciate in this moment. That she's like, listen, Kev, let me just tell you.
It's not really a conversation. She saw it. She said, "You're annoying," and then. Then the rest is
that
history.
sounds like Melissa.
That's a good conversation starter. That's a great opener.
All right, you ready?
Of course not, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Hello. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the bonus episode of Here's the Thing. I'm Kev on stage.
And I'm that chick, Angel.
And the streets is talking, Angel.
Are they?
The streets is talking.
What are they talking
I'm
about?
only going to address this once. We got a lot to talk about today.
Uh-huh.
Nick Cannon, Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Jill Scott. A lot.
A lot.
But the people first want to know
How your hair's so luscious?
how I got the locks. Listen. For whatever reason, people don't think I'm a man of my word.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know why people don't think I'm a man of my word. I said I was going to do this.
You did. I did not question it. I knew it was happening once you said it.
I posted the Cash App purchase. Okay? Why did people not believe I was a man of my own volition?
I don't know. I think they thought maybe at some point in time you would be like, you know what?
Never mind.
Yeah. But why?
No.
I mean, they should know by the 50 million pieces of black art that you have up on your walls that you're a man of your word.
This is only the art that can actually fit. I actually never even did any specifications. I just thought all these pieces of art were the same size.
In this little
Oh
room.
my God.
When this Will Smith came in, I was like, wow.
It's huge, right?
That is a monstrosity
Yeah.
of a large piece of art. And this Jet magazine, I thought was the size of a Jet magazine.
And it's not.
It's not. It's a poster. That church thing, I thought was this size. This is much. Nothing here is what I thought.
So that should let people know that you make purchases without any type of regard to what the end product is going to be.
Yes. I saw this unit, and I want to be respected.
Come on.
This
Come
is
on.
not a wig.
It's a unit.
It's a unit. We're
You gotta
gonna
have the terms, Kev.
I feel like a unit is a more gender neutral, faux masculine term.
But
Okay?
it's the proper term.
It's a proper term.
Yeah.
When I was first looking into this, I was gonna get a unit so I could look like Mike Todd. But the barber was too busy. And the naughty spot, I DM her like I want it. What's the price? Sent it to her, shipped, purchased, attached, wearing.
Yeah.
For a long time.
So, okay, so we talked about possibly doing the got to be glued, but you don't want to be that committed. Is that you want to be able to let the top down if you need to? Is that what you said? Because I get it.
I talked to Melissa about this. The first thing I did is I was gonna have my homegirl install it. Right. She's
Come on, use the terms. Install
Did
it.
my research.
It's like Geek Squad for
Right?
hair, right?
Yeah, it's like Geek Squad.
Uh-huh.
I wanted the installation so I could do whatever I wanted with it.
Yeah.
But then Melissa was like, Kev, then you're gonna have to like, if you get it professionally installed, you're gonna sleep with it. It's gonna be hot. You're gonna be annoyed.
Yeah.
In like a day.
Yeah.
After a long day now, I take it off.
Right.
I borrowed one of Melissa's mannequins. I set it
Put it
next
on
to
air.
my bed. I rub my hands through my hair. It's like, whoo, what a day.
Right,
You understand
right,
me? It's
right.
sweaty under here.
Yeah, you need to let your scalp breathe. So.
I definitely got to let my scalp breathe. And now I can sleep in my natural habitat.
Yeah.
I don't want to like.
Natural hair. I'm like, hold on, relax, guy.
Relax.
Hold on.
It is my natural hair.
Yeah,
I can
you're right,
sleep in
you're
my
right.
natural hair. I don't see what the big deal is. Okay, for a long time as black men, we have said, you know what, black women, wear your hair how you feel. What makes you want to have long wavy? You want to have TWA? You want to go teeny weeny afro?
Yeah.
You want to go braids one day? Straight the next? You want to go afro? Shave side off?
Yeah.
All I want is the same freedom to live my hair how I feel.
Is that truly what you want?
Yes.
It
I
is.
don't want to be bald. Angel.
Kevin, I want to support you, but every time you swing or do this,
I'm not used to this.
I can
hair.
see.
I'm getting
That bothers me.
I'm getting used to it as we go.
I see.
I was telling you and Josh before we started, I was eating noodles yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They were hot. The locks were like, man, let me get in on the noodles.
Yeah,
They in the soup. And I'm like, yo, is it like, ugh?
Yeah. So, I mean, are you ever going to untwist the twisted? Are you going to ever let them all free?
No. I feel like this.
That's the.
I might get a different look for a different day. You might come back on another Tuesday, and I might just have a little fro.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Listen.
The possibilities are really endless with this. What I know is
What?
I'm quarantined, so I don't have to be bald.
Ta-da.
This is what I know, and I'm loving it. I go out in the world. White people don't even know. Mm-hmm. They're just like, oh,
that's just him.
There's a man with locks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. It's a little weird when I came in the office. I didn't want to go to the little cafe area because for her to see me with this.
No. Don't you walk in shame. You let her see
gotta
you.
own it.
You let her see you with your lace front. Don't you walk in shame, Kev, now. Just because the little lady used to make you sandwiches, she'll make you sandwiches with these locks on. You hear me?
Hold up.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
See it one more again. I love how the bandana matches your shirt.
Listen, I went to the liquor store. They have, for whatever reason, the highest collection of bandana colors.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I don't have to go black every day.
You don't.
Let me use the pink to pull the pink out
I
of my
love
shirt.
it.
I
I
got
do.
my Pat Junior mental health is a flex shirt.
Yeah.
Let me pull the pink out. Let me pull it out. Let me maximize my abilities with the locks. You know what I'm saying? The future's bright for me. That's why I got the glasses on.
Well, I will be here to support this endeavor. I just hope that you stop doing that. That's the only thing.
What is wrong with this, Angel?
Because
it is in my face. I need it out of the way.
I'm not saying moving the hair. It's the way in which you are.
Is it not masculine?
It's not about the masculinity of it.
How? Okay, let's walk me through. It's in my face. How do I move it back? Because it's like irritating my ears right now.
It's irritating your ears. I think it's the like very grandiose way that you are. You see.
Is it that? That was very Beyonce-ish.
That was so unnatural.
Right. It's so unnatural, so grandiose. It's like, luscious hair. Like, what are those commercial? Herbal Essence commercial. That's what it looks like.
I'm a grandiose person, Angel.
Okay.
This is, you know.
Yes, I'm going to, that's what somebody just mentioned. I'm going to get you a scrunchie. I'm going to get a couple of ones. And I'm going to put them in the cup with Fred. Or I'll put them in your box. And then whenever it's getting up, just get in your way, you just pull it back. Pull a low pony.
Listen, the people in the Patreon are asking, is this a midlife crisis? Why? Why does that be a midlife crisis?
You ain't even at midlife either.
What's midlife? 50?
Yeah.
Oh, you good?
Yeah. This is just me tired of being bald. When you're bald, you have to shave, especially when we shoot as much as we do. You got to shave every
All
other
the
day.
time, yeah.
I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I just take this off.
Mm-hmm. I think Marcus has fantasies of having hair all the time.
Here's the funny thing about that. A lot of dudes DMing me on the slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Kev, I made fun of you in the public, but low key, I want to see if people accept this because I don't have my hairline. And
Yeah.
I've been looking at some units,
Yeah.
but I don't really have the confidence. So you venture out there to do this. So I am a trailblazer.
That is what I think a lot of people are afraid of more than anything.
Yes.
That you are setting a very strong trend that's going to actually catch hold.
What is wrong with men taking their hair into their own hands? For far too long, we've had to accept when Father Time has made us bald. We've had to accept a less than hairline. Women don't have to accept any of that. You know, what if I want to protect the
You
style?
know why? Because dudes won't check for us if we just accept it. That's
true.
Where a woman will check for a man who either goes bald or even if he has the good old cul-de-sac, they'll be like, he's so good to me.
As long as you rock it with confidence.
Yes.
I am walking confidently in what God has given me.
Has afforded you to purchase, you mean?
He's giving it to me. Either naturally. See, here's the same thing that we get on women about, right?
What?
You're doing the same thing to me that we do to women. Oh, it ain't your hair. You bought it. Listen, if I buy this phone, it's now my phone.
I didn't say it wasn't your hair. I was just saying.
What, because I didn't grow it?
I did.
Are you looking down on me because I didn't grow it?
Nobody's looking down at you, Kevin. I see that this unit gives you a lot of sass. That is what I am noticing, okay?
Just because I do that a lot?
I thought just the one lock is the one that moves.
This one in the front, it's the David Ruffin.
Well, that's the reason why I was asking if you're going to because she did individual locks and then twisted them. So that's making them stiffer. That's the reason why they keep coming towards your face. That's the reason why I was asking if you were going to untwist.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Well, see, I was trying to help you out. You got offended, you know.
I just want you to respect my unit.
I respect it because
I
I
don't
know
think
that
anybody's
costs money. Now listen,
Hey.
that's why you better, like you said, put it on its wig stand every night. Treat it nicely.
You be hitting it with Febreze fabric, or how does it?
I haven't had it. Doesn't stink yet.
You would it's human hair, so you could
human?
wash it. Is it not?
I don't know.
You don't know what you bought?
Broth. I don't.
You need to know.
How do I know if it's human or not? Are you? Oh man, did you used to be somebody?
Because it should have been in the description of the unit.
Oh, I didn't look in that.
Oh.
The box just came. I ripped it open. I had this thing on in 5 minutes.
I'm hoping that it's human.
Otherwise, it's what, synthetic?
Yeah, otherwise it's synthetic, and that'll really irritate after a while.
What was that?
Oh my gosh. You're so sassy.
Synthetic?
You are so sassy. Somebody said you should do a tutorial.
Just learning.
Yeah, but that's okay. Let's show people how you installed it yourself.
Bring him in on the
I
journey.
can't. Listen, I'm too new to do that part.
Okay.
You know, it's like when you're learning makeup, you can't learn and teach at the same time. You got to feel confident.
People do it all the time. And
People
they're not
do.
Good. They're not good.
People do, but you got to feel confident in yourself before you start.
How do your sons feel about it?
You know what I realized about my sons?
What?
I don't think there's anything I can do to them that they are like genuinely surprised at anymore.
They know you know you.
Especially Joe. Joe's just like, when I came.
Your hair's in your mouth. Bless it. Bless it.
You're working on it. You were working on that.
Pulled something off his tongue about 5 times. Like you got a cat. Go ahead.
When I came downstairs with it on, Joe looked at me and he was like,
Just the exhale. Just the exhale.
it was just like, and Isaiah was like, Father, you really did it? Are you going to be wearing it for a while? It actually looks good. And Joe was just like, so you felt like that's what you should have. Okay. I mean,
Joe gonna put you in a home. Let me tell you.
I've always told Melissa she has a chance to come back and live with them. They are tossing me to Whispering Pines.
Yes, I was supposed to say Shady Pines. Yes.
Shady Pines, Whispering Willow.
Yes.
Something with an adjective and a tree.
Yes.
is where as soon
that is
my
where you're
only
going.
chance is that I'm rich enough to have a nurse come live in my house.
Yes.
Because if it's up to them,
you going.
facilitate him.
Yeah.
We've been through enough.
Well, Kev, I'm glad that you're happy with your purchase because
Thank
that's
you.
the worst thing, to spend money on a unit and you're not happy with
Yeah.
it. So you look very happy with
Thank
it. And I hope that, any unit you buy from here on out makes
I'm
you
going to
just
have
as
a whole
happy.
array.
You should. It
The
gets
way
addictive.
Melissa has, she has a bob. She has, some days she wants to feel like Beyonce. She has a quick one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of homegirls of mine, they've got different looks. Yeah. You gonna be like, oh, Kevin got his locks in today. Oh, he got a job interview. He got the little fro.
Listen, we can make this a challenge. I got about 40 plus wigs in the closet, Kev. Okay?
Do you really?
Yes.
40 plus wigs.
I do. I don't buy a lot of expensive wigs because I'll get tired of a style and I want to feel comfortable being like, let me toss you. But if I didn't spend over 100, no,
you keeping it?
Oh,
where do you keep all your wigs?
At the top of my closet.
On little heads or in bags?
The expensive ones are on heads. The cheap ones are in little boxes. There's like a curly hair wig box, a color hair wig box, like because I have one that has like purple at the end and stuff like that, and then a straight hair wig box, and then my human hair is on like
human hair is the top.
The good human hair. Yep. Yeah. Listen.
Give me some time.
All right.
Give me some time. I'm gonna challenge you.
I'll be ready.
Okay.
Let's get to it.
A lot happened since Monday.
Woo-wee!
The biggest, I don't even know what's the biggest story anymore. Nick Cannon or Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. Where do you want to start?
Let's go ahead and start with Nick because I feel like he came out of the box so wrong, like right after Monday, that we got to go ahead and tackle it.
So if you're unaware, Nick Cannon had Professor Griff from Public Enemy, on his Cannon's podcast.
Cannon's Class
podcast, where they read books and discuss them. Apparently this was like 2 weeks ago. And then over the weekend into Monday, a clip came out where Nick Cannon was like, white people are savages, white people are evil. The non-melanated people, the white people, they were treating the melanated people with contempt and violence because they are non-melanated. Later that day or the next day, when I saw that clip, I was like, whew.
What are you doing?
Right? But Nick Cannon is involved in so many things. I was curious who was going to strike first. Viacom, which has Nick Cannon's prime property.
Come on.
Wildin' Out, which is a monster of an intellectual property.
Yes.
This thing is doggone Saturday Night Live meets Whose Line Is It Anyway meets, hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Right? Wildin' Out started for us way back.
Yeah.
When Kevin Hart and Cat Williams weren't even superstars yet.
At all. They were just teammates.
D-Ray, Leonard.
Yeah.
Spank. Right?
All of them.
Rebranded themselves with influencers. Genius. Right? Now, some influencers, DC Young Fly, Carlos Miller, Emmanuel Hudson, Tim, these people are like mainstays.
Yes, now.
So much content. Then they have the YouTube page, which is a monster. And before pandemic, they had the live show.
Yes, they did.
Right? But
what?
Not owned by Nick Cannon.
Of course it's not.
This is what people don't understand. They're like, Nick Cannon, I don't mean to come across as I know it all. I didn't. I've learned a lot in my time in this industry. People are like, Nick Cannon should just take Wildin' Out to BT. Couple things wrong here, guys.
Yeah.
One, Nick Cannon likely no longer owns Wildin' Out.
Right.
When you sell a show like that, especially with the power that Nick Cannon had when he first made it, that network buys the IP to that.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole kit and caboodle. Now, they pay you well.
Yeah.
But that's Viacom's property now.
Yeah.
And Viacom not only owns MTV, MTV2, they own VH1 and BET.
They own the whole thing.
And here's what people don't realize. Viacom can continue that show.
With Nick Cannon nowhere in sight.
Sans Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Right? Probably isn't liable, but when you have a moral, basically what Nick Cannon's going to be accused of is breaking the morality clause, which that ends the contract.
Right.
When you've done something that makes yourself or the network look bad, any provisions you have are gone.
Yeah.
So Viacom didn't fire Nick Cannon, right? They canceled the contract.
Yeah.
And they more than likely retained the rights to Wildin' Out.
Yeah. That's anytime you are going to a conglomerate with an idea and you want them to back it, they're not just going to give you money for the content. They're going to want ownership just in case, one, it prevents you from being able to sell this idea elsewhere.
Yep.
Because if you think about, not that I know her business like this, if you think about like Issa Rae,
Yeah.
there's potentially the chance that she does not own Insecure. I don't know her contract, but more than likely she doesn't, because she came on as still such a known name in the world of Hollywood. That's the reason for Awkward. You can't find Awkward Black Girl, I think, now anywhere online. I think it's pulled down.
No, it's on there, ain't it?
I could have sworn it was pulled down, but I could be wrong.
You're wrong.
It's up. It's still up.
Still
Okay.
on Issa Rae's channel.
She still has.
I'm other. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's perfect. But you notice that Insecure ain't on there.
No.
That's what you will notice. So they own Insecure more than likely to the point that she can't have it anywhere else.
Yep.
And that's because they to produce an episode of these like really well-known shows, that is millions of dollars per episode.
Yes.
So they're not about to take their chances of you doing something that will waste their money.
Right. And here's the hard truth, unfortunate truth. Nick Cannon was very smart into not make Wildin' Out Nick Cannon centric. Right. He was able to have whatever influencers are popping. Right. Mm-hmm. He has his OG crew. E-Man, Carlos, these people who've been there for years, right? Since the reboot, basically. Yeah. And then pretty much anybody who's anybody has went through there. Right? Almost everybody has done at least a season. Yeah. Right? So it allows whoever's popping to be promoting it, right? Yeah. They're always, pulling people out. This show is a monster hit. I mean, it's probably one of Viacom's most it basically was almost all of MTV2's programming for 3 to 5 years, something like that. So when they canceled that contract that same day, they put Fresh Prince episodes in front of Wild Out.
They were like, y'all can watch this for right now because we ain't showing Wild Out. Right.
Yeah. So in the next step he did was anger.
Well, wait a minute. Let's clarify though, because you were quoting what he said, but it wasn't just that he was talking about.
Oh, you're right.
White people or Caucasian people in general. He specifically talked about the Jewish community, the Jewish community as we know it as the world, as not actually having claim to being the chosen people, that black people and brown people are the true descendants of the Israelites from the Bible, which is a theory that a lot of what do they call them?
Hebrew Israelites?
Yes, Hebrew Israelites have, I think, maybe even some 5%ers. It's like it is a thought on the outskirts of like some black thinkers.
Yeah.
But as we said before on this show, when you have a lot to lose, you got to be real careful with your words. And to tell Jewish people that they ain't got a right to their own struggle, their own history, you have lost your ever-loving mind.
So here's my thing about that, Angel.
Please.
So, and to be quite honest, I had to, and this is the truth. Mm-hmm. I watched the whole podcast. I didn't understand the anti-Semitism at first, right? I was like, because usually anti-Semitism is very overt. These people are greedy. These are, blah, blah, blah. But even the mention of the Rothschilds family, which is a Jewish thing, it's like a Jewish family, it's associated with conspiracy theory. There is a Twitter thread that a black woman who's a black Jewish woman put that really helped me, because I was like, I don't know why this is. I don't know exactly what is anti-Semitic. So I want to read it so everybody can be on the same page, because it was very helpful to me in understanding the anti-Semitism. I'm just going to read it verbatim. Hold on one second. Nope, that's not it. Where is?
He's like, nope, it is a bit. I don't see it here.
I have so many notes for this Nick Cannon thing.
It's a lot.
Girl,
I don't know.
Every time I click something, Tamantha keeps coming up.
I know. You're like, I don't want to see that. Yes, I couldn't. I was Listen, if you go to any Holocaust museum or anything that is like showing the history behind the Holocaust, their theme is never forget. Because unlike any other like time in history, I have never seen anything else be like refuted as something that didn't happen.
Like the Holocaust?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like people don't say slavery didn't happen.
Right.
People don't say the transatlantic, slave trade didn't happen. But when it comes to Jewish people and their struggle, people will be like, nah, son, that didn't happen. And Nick, well, I'm doing this stalling so you can find it.
Found it.
Okay. I'm trying to.
And sentences.
You were doing good, and I appreciate you having my back.
Pause here
There
for breath.
you go.
I have so much for Nick Cannon. There was so much that happened in the week that I wanted to be able to touch on all of it. Here's what she said. Black woman, Jewish, Milana's queendom. I'm going to just read the whole thing.
Please.
My partner and I were just discussing how a lot of black people don't have the education around anti-Semitism to fully get why Nick Cannon's rant was messed up. So let me be your black and Jewish educational fairy godmother. First, the Rothschilds bank theory. That ain't real. Many Jewish people in Europe were forced to work in banking because of the laws restricting them from entertaining other types of work. This is where the stereotypes of stingy, money-grubbing, banking, etc. come from. But it was the racist, anti-Semitic structures that pushed Jewish people into that system in the first place. This is similar to calling black people welfare queens. A system was created that locked people into a space, and a stereotype was invented around it. One old-timey Jewish family being rich doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy theory. It's like a wealth inequality has existed for generations. Gasp. If you want to know who runs the banks, Google Bank of America and Chase. Hint, they're very white and very not Jewish. Now, as far as calling Jewish people savages, I hope it's pretty obvious why that's anti-Semitic, but in case it's not, and she links to a Wikipedia article, which basically details how there's a German word that I don't know how to pronounce. I think Untermensch. And it was basically Nazi propaganda that Jewish people were inferior people, which helped to basically the first part of the Holocaust wasn't the training people to Auschwitz. It was dehumanizing Jewish people.
Exactly.
So you dehumanize them in the media. Everybody agrees they're this, they're inhumane, they're vermin. Then it's easier to say we don't want them. Then it's easier to say get them out of here. And then when you're killing them, you've already kind of been doing that process for a while.
Yeah.
So she continues. Then Nick's whole original Semite thing. There's so much wrong with it. So the idea is that Jews stole black people's identity as the true people of Israel. This is her quotations, not mine. This means that the Jewish people are to be blamed for all the racism black people experience. You see this is in a lot of Farrakhan's rhetoric. Taken to the extreme, you'd have to exterminate racism. In order to exterminate racism, you have to exterminate Jewish people so black people can reclaim their spot as the chosen people. Her quote's not mine.
Yeah.
Farrakhan and other black supremacists use Jewish people as a boogeyman and scapegoat to push their own agenda and cult of personality. There can be no end to racism without an end to anti-Semitism. The us, black people, versus the them, Jewish people, like Nick Cannon uses to break down when you have someone like me, a black Jew. She's a black Jewish woman. In fact, many anti-Semitic ideas of features are rooted in anti-blackness and vice versa. Curly hair, big nose, etc. These are both features in black people and Jewish people.
I got it.
Historically, the very idea of racism came initially from Spain and its treatment of Jews during the Inquisition. These type of racial codifications were later used to entrench chattel slavery in what will become the U.S. I know a lot of white Jewish people are racist. I know a lot of black people are anti-Semitic. I know these communities have hurt each other, and I know that from personal experience, it's much harder to be black in the U.S. than it is to be Jewish. But all oppression is connected. Anyway, there's a lot more to be said, but I'll leave it here for now. Go ahead and ask questions if you're here to learn. Other black Jews especially, feel free to chime in. Adding this because people keep saying Viacom fired Nick because he's a black man exercising his freedom of speech. Stop it. Colin Kaepernick was fired for exercising his freedom of speech. Nick Cannon was fired for shooting off racist conspiracy theories. Viacom is a racist company that has stock in for-profit prisons. Maybe Nick was given a quicker hook than a white person saying the same things would have been. Doesn't make it any less racist or mean Nick should be expected not to face consequences. Black people, you cannot want people to suffer consequences for racist actions, but only when they're racist against black people. You also can't have it so black people aren't also held responsible for racist actions. That's not how justice and liberation works.
Yeah.
So, here's my question to you, Angel.
Please.
Do you think Nick Cannon's comments warranted, his comments and then his initial double down.
Yes. Warrant him being fired. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, we can't, let's not play around. The industry that we work in, Hollywood entertainment industry, has been very much so affected and has a large presence of Jewish people.
Yes.
My manager is a proud Jewish man. You can't sit here and think that even though it's not on Viacom's network, that you're going to make statements that are offensive to the Jewish community and then double down and think there won't be consequences, especially in this day and age of 2020, where let's get past 2020. Let's go back to Me Too. People are getting cut left and right.
Get them up out of here.
They're getting cut left and right. They're like, you're not about to burn this ship down. That doesn't mean that Viacom doesn't have racist practice. That doesn't mean that there are people who possibly would not have been as fired as quickly as Nick. But when you have a lot to lose, you can't just be out here reckless with your mouth, especially with something that is still very much so like theory. You know what I'm saying? I know other black people who also believe that black people are the true Israelites. Yeah. And if he want to think that, okay, but if you start to try to diminish people's history, especially a people that have had a large effect on the industry that you work in, know that there's going to be consequences. This is not about freedom of speech. This is definitely hate speech.
Yeah.
So
I was reading a rabbi. He's and this is the person who Nick Cannon talked to. He said that black people claiming to be Jewish isn't inherently anti-Semitic.
Right.
But what Nick Cannon said in the conspiracy theories that are entrenched are saying we are the true Jewish people. You are not.
Yes, he said they have no rights. They have no claims. To that. You cannot rip someone completely from what they are saying is their culture and their history. I'm sorry. People might disagree with that, but you can't do that. You can do it when you at home and you work at McDonald's. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that, but when you are someone who's getting paid millions of dollars.
Absolutely. Here's the quote exactly from the rabbi. Is it anti-Semitic to say black people are the real Israelites or the real Jews? I'm not sure I'd call it anti-Semitism, Haynes said. It's not a good reading of history, but I wouldn't call it anti-Semitism. On the other hand, some of these groups that call Jews imposters certainly cross the line. And I think that's the difference for Nick Cannon, is that he's saying, we are the true Jewish people, you are not.
Basically,
you have
they've
stolen
been lying.
what's rightfully for us, and we have suffered because of it. That's where these people feel. So I'm not qualified to speak on who's the real Jews or not. I really just learned about almost all of this because of this. Like, obviously, I'm familiar with Hebrew Israelites and we're the true Jews, but I never understood how that was anti-Semitic until now, because this displacement thing it feeds into this stereotype that apparently Jewish stereotypes are greedy, corrupt, controlling, behind the scenes, like they control Hollywood. I can't say they control Hollywood, but what I can say is they are a large part of Hollywood, and they have a lot of positions of power in Hollywood, certainly much more than black people have, right? Yeah. So the thing that I feel bad about is if they continue Wildin' Out without Nick Cannon, it's not going to be the same. If they completely cut Wildin' Out, which I highly doubt they will do for a property that's successful, because the bottom line is fans of Wildin' Out are going to still watch it. Yep. Because if you're a fan of Carlos and DC and Emmanuel and Justina and whoever, anyone who's on there every week, you might not be. It's been a while since people have been tuning in solely for Nick Cannon. Yeah. Like he's always there. He's always in the wild style, but a lot of other people are funny. B. Simone and Pretty V. Like the clip that just went viral was Pretty V. Hey, like that's V, right? Yeah. So that company who's invested a lot of money in that show will absolutely continue that show. Yes. Real quick, somebody said, but Angel, what if it's true? Okay. What's true? What Nick said. What if it's true, the things that he said, these statements. That to me is like saying,
what if when white people say black folk are inferior, what if that's true?
Yeah.
What if we aren't as smart? What if we are actually savages? Like, are we really sitting here?
Yeah.
But what if it is true? No, pimp. It's
Pimp.
you cannot have it both ways. You really honestly can't. And if you do want to have it both ways, don't expect to get paid by major companies. If you really want, if that's the hill that you, like you say, want to die on, then do not expect to get paid millions of dollars by companies that maybe not be ran by the Jewish community, but have a lot of people that have invested time, work, and energy in that company. So you can fully believe it 100%. Right. You just ain't gonna get paid by Viacom or ABC or Fox or any of these other networks that got a whole bunch of money.
That's 100% true. This is part of the reason, not to say whatever you want to say and be able to get away with it, but part of the reason I am infinitely proud and glad for Kev on Stage Studios is because I can make a mistake.
Yeah.
I can learn from it.
Absolutely.
Without fear that my boss will cancel me.
Yeah.
Right? Now I have the fear that a community will cancel me, that a fan or a large group of fans will cancel me, but I don't have someone above me saying, we don't like what you said.
Yeah.
Therefore, we will take away a huge income generator from you immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Like that Nick Cannon was like 15 years.
Man.
Yeah.
You know how rare any piece of programming, scripted, unscripted, in the world lasts 15 years. And they were doing 2 or 3 seasons a year.
Yeah.
So it's a lot
Yeah.
of investment years. Like what's The Simpsons, the Cops. There's very few things that go on 10 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most good shows 5, 7.
Yeah.
And even like The Office was one of my favorite shows. I don't even count the last 2. 8 and 9, no.
Yeah.
At the end of 7, I start right back over. Sometimes I go to when Michael came back to the wedding because that makes me happy.
Right.
But the last 2 seasons,
yeah.
Like here's the thing, people get mad, right? Let's take The Office, right? I'm not gonna watch when Steve Carell leaves. But you will, though.
Yeah, you will.
And 2 more seasons for a network show that now sucks is still 2 more seasons for a lot of people to get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's 26 more episodes per.
Yeah.
That's a lot more royalties. That's a lot more content to sell. Because they didn't sell the first 7 seasons to Netflix.
Yeah.
They sold all 9.
Yeah.
And when it comes off Netflix, I think this year or next year, and they get back to when the rights revert back to NBC Universal, I think it is, all 9 seasons gonna be on there, right? So if you think Viacom, there was a joke going around that Ryan Seacrest was gonna host it, or Bobby Jones. If you think they won't replace Nick Cannon, and I'm seeing in the comments like Alfred forgot to mention Chico Bean. He's also a mainstay and fun. And this is what I'm actually really happy for.
What?
Chico and Carlos and DC and Emmanuel, who have used Viacom's money to get paid, but at the same time build their own brand. Yeah. So now 85 South, which grew in the same time as Wild 'N Out, right? Now, shoot, man, I really want to see those guys. Guess what?
You still
on
can.
A platform they own. Yeah. You can still watch them. And black people didn't used to have that ability.
No, that has been the blessing of the internet. Granted, I still think we should be building our own platforms still because, you know, if YouTube go away,
listen,
if Instagram will go away.
I'm working on that.
I'm sure you are,
For Kev on Stage Studios.
You're Kev. I'm not surprised.
I want to be fully autonomous.
Yes.
Separate from YouTube or Facebook. Like Vimeo, for example, they're in it for the hosting of and encoding video software. Yeah. That is a different game, right? You pay your money, you can use Vimeo. Yeah. I actually have a designer working on the Kev on Stage. Listen, Patreon. I don't even want to be beholden to Patreon.
Right.
I want to build my own ecosystem. Yeah. I've actually been on this for a long time, but years ago when the first YouTube apocalypse happened and I tried to do this, that doggone website building money, I was like, well,
it's a lot. It's not a game.
YouTube is fine because server space, file storage, all that stuff where you can back it up on YouTube. It's a lot easier when you don't have to pay for that. It is free to upload to YouTube. Yeah. It is not free to upload and maintain your own website.
Not at all. Not at all. But it is a lot of money, and that's but that's what it's going to take to really be able to have our own control. When we talk about being like responsible for where we put our money, where we put our funds, as long as we are having to pay into bigger companies, we're never going to be able to say exactly where every penny of our thing of our stuff goes. So while I obviously don't agree with Nick said, I'm glad that he did actually eventually give a sincere apology once he came up off of his high horse. But at the same time, had he had ownership of his show, or had it at a place where he could have ownership, he could still have this growth while not having to lose something that he's worked so hard to build. But that's the repercussions that we all know that we're up against when we decide to work for someone else. That we don't just get to be 100% ourselves, mistakes and all.
Well, guess what, Angel? We're all tied together.
Yeah.
Right? If you go out and have some ridiculous thing and we have a show together, it's going to be this one is just
we need to Bobby pin it back. But
it's okay. Take John Christ, who just made an apology video, his first video back in 8 months. Prior to John Christ going away to rehab for, sex addiction, not only was he on tour, there was a DJ, there was comedians who their income was tied to John Christ.
Right.
And his life, right? And they didn't have the clout or social media stuff to keep going. So when John Christ has his life issue, it doesn't only affect him. It affects these comics who are like, I can't work now either.
Right.
Because of something I didn't even do.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what you end up working. Now, here's the thing I want to talk about, Nick, before we move on. So he apologized profusely. And then you know what happened? So he's got the Jewish community upset for his statements, right? So he apologizes. And you know what happens? Black people call him a sellout.
Right.
This, my friends, I actually understand a lot.
I know you do.
I
know.
I had a situation a couple weeks ago where a community was calling for me to delete a video and apologize in this. And the other community was like, keep it up. Keep going.
Yeah.
And here's what I understand for Nick. It's like when you feel like you are hurting people, like your words have hurt people. Like he said in his tweet late last night, which I feel really bad. He said, I feel like I've hurt people, which pains me to my core. Yeah. Right. And I want to apologize. I want to make that right. Right. Because that wasn't my intention. Yeah. And then his own people then call him a sellout. It's like, where do I go?
Where do you go?
You know what I mean? Like everybody's mad at me. Yeah. And if he doesn't apologize, this community's still hurt, right? Because the truth of the matter is hate crimes against Jews are up, right? Yeah. Hate crimes in general are up, right? But rhetoric like that leads to hate crimes, right? And so he's like, I can't live with this, right? Yeah. And then your own people, Nick Cannon's kind of always been a person who people made fun of.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
always been called corny. He's not, I mean, people have said stuff. And people have said stuff, right? Always admired his business acumen, right? But comedy's subjective. I'll just say that because I don't want to pile on. But the one thing that I can connect with is having a lot of people pissed at you and dragging you on platform from sea to shining sea, in your email, in your message, in your inbox, and then doing what you feel is right, and that same thing triggering a whole bunch of more people doing the same thing. Yeah. He was like, his last thing was like, I'm off this planet. Yeah. You guys can have it. And I was like, been there.
Yeah, you like, I felt that.
Been there. It's like you cannot win in this business no matter what you do. It feels like someday people are always gonna come after you. Yeah. Feels like, and this is like, shoot, I got therapy today and it's the number one topic. Okay. You hear me? Yeah. The bigger your platform gets, the bigger the target, the more people feel comfortable. I have not been used to being podcast fodder right? I'm gonna share something with you guys, and I'm actually purposely sharing less and less of my personal life from things that have happened the last 2 months. I'm just like, let me keep a piece of my life.
Yeah.
But this part I'm going to share. By this time, we won't be showing this on the Patreon. I'll stop this part before I get here. In a conversation over the weekend or over the last week, this dude who I didn't know well, right? Family member was like, "Oh yeah, Kev, this dude, he wanted to know what happened with this and that, man. You mind talking to him?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." End up talking to the dude, right? Okay. The next day. Next day, Angel, Josh, another friend of mine. Kev, you see this on Facebook?
No.
Same person who I do not know well, who I'm only talking to because family and friend happen to be FaceTiming them, right? Inside scoop on Kev on stage. Did he fold against the LGBT community? What kind of Christian is he? Christians were destroying my very nature. He ain't even a Christian like that. I never believed he was a Christian. This is just further proof. And I'm like, I don't even know you. And on the phone, you know what that dude was like? "Oh, I'm just yet praying for you, brother. I can't imagine what it's like to have a platform as big as yours and just to know what it feels. And I got you, brother." So then he changed his name on Facebook. So I don't know the dude, and his name on Facebook wasn't his name, his real name. So my brother sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh man, I knew this was coming eventually." And then I saw that, and I was like,
that makes my skin burn.
We ride at dawn, Kev.
Dude, you know what, Josh? You can't even ride at dawn. I feel like, I don't know. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Remember when Jon Snow knew he was finna die, and he pulled the sword out, and all the horses were coming at him? He was like, "I'm finna die."
Yeah.
That's what it's felt like for me for like the last month. I have low-key been like, I don't like it here on the internet. Like, for real, I've been like, bro, this actually sucks. And I'm really struggling with a growing platform.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. No, I'm like, bro, it's one thing to watch Americans. I've seen us build people up, then destroy them. Then build them up, destroy them, build them up for mere entertainment value. And I've joined in. I got my jokes off on Jada.
Yeah.
Right? She made a video last week that was like, the people that really love you with you on the battlefield. And I was like, I never said I loved you. Right?
Didn't mean you.
Didn't mean you. So what I am 100% sure that is even more necessary to be in this business is true friends who are not your friends for what you can provide, right? Because the bigger my platform grows, the more and more people who are coming to my path who are opportunistic.
Yeah.
And now I have to treat everyone like this guy, because that's the first time that's ever happened. I was like, you didn't even wait 24 hours. That was my first conversation with you. Now you're inside scoop guy. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm here to defend you, Kev." He was like, "I'm defending Kev. You are creating a fire."
Yeah, you are.
Right? And then saying, "But I'm a firefighter." Then you wouldn't create fire.
Right.
Right? So I have had to decompress, move on, but to accept that you have to be, by the nature of growth, you are going to be
you have to navigate completely different.
You have to move so differently
than you were raised too. You know what
yes.
I mean? And I think that unpackaging, that unfolding makes it that much harder, because then you're questioning not only how you were raised, but what's still installed on like how you treat people.
Right.
Oh, that's another thing. When people do stuff to you that you would never in your life do ever,
right?
Lord Jesus.
You're just like, oh, you are.
You about to make me pull off my eyelashes. This is just so, and this is the reason why, because I have seen, like, I've been around you enough that I can see you know how you put things in boxes?
Yeah.
Your boxes aren't as neat as they usually are. I can see it wearing. I can see it wearing on you, and I'm just like, I'm not one to pry into people's personal business, so I'm just like, you okay?
I'm glad I have the glasses on.
Yeah, man.
No, that's the reason why I was like, okay, he got on glasses today. It's not just about the wig. It's not about the unit. It's not just about the unit, but I'm gonna let him be where he at.
So, there's a lot to it, right? And I'm working on Kev on stage, the persona What happened was Kevin Fredericks and Kev on Stage, the persona, were like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you got to separate.
Over the last 3 months, I'm like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
This is Kevin Fredericks, father, husband, friend.
Yeah.
Business person, blah, blah, blah. This guy is one person. This is Kev on Stage, the persona.
Yeah.
And the information from Kevin Fredericks and Kev on Stage, the reason I got to this point is because people are like, I really know you, and you really did.
Yeah.
But now people realizing that people will take the part they know of you to attach themselves to Kev on Stage. They'll use Kevin Fredericks to get there. So that's what happened with when I was getting dragged by the LGBT community a couple weeks ago. And I'm looking at the articles and the tweets, and it's like, you're not even really mad at me per se. You're mad at the person in the video or the idea. Yeah. And that's because the name Kev on Stage is a bigger name now. Yeah. And my article gets a little bit more clicks attached to that name, and I'm not used to that.
Right.
I'm like, bro, I'm just a little dumb comedian. I'm wearing this wig. I'm silly. And when people are like, oh no, we're taking you seriously. Yeah. You are harmful. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not harmful. I just bull. I little man. I'm not harmful. I baby. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why I can sympathize with Nick Cannon. Right. Like, I don't agree with his. I actually agree with you. I feel like for black people, we are so used to being oppressed, and we are so constantly oppressed. We lash out. Right? Everybody's after us. And in a lot of ways, a lot of people have taken advantage of us in a lot of different ways, from the police to teachers to the system and lawyers. So we lash out, right? But that doesn't mean it's right. Right. Right? Like, yes, people in Hollywood are like bad. Yes, people in Hollywood take advantage of you. Like, my approach to people in Hollywood is I know you are trying to take advantage of me, right? I just assume.
Right, automatically off top. That's what this is.
You are trying to beat me out of money, out of IP, out of stuff. It's disguised as help. I remember one time